if you're a bodybuilder, a weightlifter, powerlifter, or even let's say a boxer, for example, is somebody who needs to do something really quickly and fast speed, creatine is great, and it's one of the most researched supplements today with positive and effective results. Because what creatine does, it helps to regenerate quick energy, like power, explosion, short bursts of energy. So when we look at energy, there's three types of energy. We have ATP phosphatidylcreatine energy system, which lasts about 10 seconds. Then you have the anaerobic glycolysis, which is burning sugar without any oxygen, which can last anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute at the most, maybe depending on how well-trained an athlete you are. And the third is aerobic glycolysis, and which can last up to 4 hours. And aerobic just means exercise with oxygen. So when you're running a marathon and you're over here, you're just using fat and carbs for an extended period of time. So creatine does absolutely nothing for you. So in addition, when you're holding your breath for less than 10 seconds, like a 40-yard sprint, it's not going to do much for you either. But if you're over here in the weightlifting arena or boxing, for example, where you have around 10 seconds, like for example, how long does it take you to do like a set of weights? 8 to 10 seconds, right? So if you're taking creatine, you might get 6 to 8 reps, maybe 2 reps more. With those extra 2 reps, puts your muscles under more stress. So, but then you have to eat to be able to make that muscle bigger. So it's a process, it's a circular process. So creatine doesn't make you bigger, it just gives you the energy to perform better. So remember how I talked about ATP, adenosine triphosphate? Well, adenosine triphosphate gets broken down and it gives away a phosphate, and this phosphate is what we use for energy. So now that adenosine triphosphate has now become adenosine diphosphate, so this molecule gets recycled in what they call a Krebs cycle to get rephosphorylated or to have energy again. So what creatine monohydrate does is when it gets inside the cell, okay, it becomes creatine phosphate, and then it donates a phosphate to ADP, adenosine diphosphate, making it ATP again. So you have that recycled energy or that rep or that push or that sprint. So it repeats itself. So creatine is great if you're doing something that lasts for about 10 seconds, like a weight training session. You rest and then you perform it again, and so on. So this is very useful. Highly recommend. Okay, so if you're a marathon runner or a cyclist, creatine will, when it gets inside your cells, it just pulls in more water. Okay, and I see people gain about 10 to 15 pounds of water on creatine. So creatine doesn't work well for triathletes or marathon runners or cyclists unless you're maybe off season and would like to build up muscles for power and strength.